Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my studio. This week has flown by and it's time for another live, so stay tuned. We've got a really cute project for you today. I think you're going to love it. So Lindsay is here with me, and we're both shivering in our shoes. We woke up yesterday morning to snow again. Spring is around the corner, roller coaster weather in Ohio, so.
We're supposed to get thunderstorms on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
It's 70 degrees though, but.
Okay, so we go from winter to summer and no in between. Let us know if you're joining us where you are, and we always ask what your weather is because we're kind of sort of jealous. Lindsay's getting ready to go on a cruise, so she's going to be headed to some warm, sunny weather. John and I are going to be headed south as well, but we're taking turns, so.
We're not going at the same time.
I'm not going to abandon everything at once. But as just a FYI, the week of, what is it, Lindsay? We're going to not be telecasting.
So next week we will have a live. And then the 2 weeks after that, we will not have a live.
Okay.
Because 1 week Chris and John will be gone, and then the next week I will be gone. So
I might be able to get a video in there. I'm not promising, but I will try. I have some really great ideas, and more ideas than time. You all know what that's all about. Right now, I'm struggling with one of the designs that in my mind looked fantastic, and I painted it up, and it has some issues. So I'm trying to resolve those problems. I told Lindsay it's either going. I have a drastic move. It's either going to make it look phenomenal, or I'm going to have to repaint it. Either way. So, anyways, we'll see what happens.
So we have Stacy joining us from Florida.
Oh, is it warm in Florida, Stacy? That's where I'm headed.
We're actually both headed down there, but at different parts.
Yeah.
But you're going what? West Coast?
Yeah, West Palm Beach.
Yeah, and I'm going to Miami because that's where the cruise port's at.
Oh, that's.
But Bonnie's joined us from Oklahoma City.
That's roller coaster weather too. I knew that for a fact.
So, as you come in, please let us know where you're joining us from.
I think all systems are working this morning.
Yeah, we have
for
chat.
A change.
Yeah, knock on wood. The glue gun is not going to burn us today. We've decided that.
Yeah, I think we've kind of decided we need a new system for our glue gun. In my home studio, I have a cordless glue gun, which is really nice because I can. The stand is where it recharges in the stand. Dealing with a cord, and we've kind of got a lot of equipment sitting around here, and Lindsay burned herself and I always burn myself. But with this cordless one at home, I've been a little more successful in staying burn free. So I think we're going to switch over.
So Mike has joined us from East Tennessee, and Lisa is here from Massachusetts. Stacy says it's gorgeous in Central Florida, low 80s.
Oh my goodness.
Terry from Alberta, Canada.
Not 80 degrees in Alberta, I'm sure. Hi, Terry.
Sue from New Jersey. Kathy from Bryan, Ohio. Marlene from Tennessee. Even though she didn't say she was from Tennessee, I know she's from Tennessee.
Well, welcome, welcome.
Hello to, I'm not sure, it says M. Marin L508. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Glad you all are able to join in. Like I said, this is a fun project, and this is along our lines of keep it simple. And I think that it's very, very flexible. And I like projects that not only are a little bit unique and fun and easy to create, but also take a look at your stash, because you can use a lot of what you have on hand. Be flexible and kind of think outside of the box and make everything kind of work with that.
So Lisa says she is loving that Hello Mason jar behind you. That was featured, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
On a live. So the video is on our YouTube channel. There is no pattern for it, but again, the video is on the live section of our YouTube channel. So, and that is the 3D butterfly hanger on our website.
And the one I did in class, I actually turned the top butterfly was fluttering down. and I was playing around with it, and I switched it around and turned it up, and a couple people said they liked it a little bit better flying upwards. So if you watch the video that I did, it's going down. This one's going up, so you can decide which way you want your butterflies to flutter.
Hello, Marilyn from Utah, and I believe it's Isabel from Souter Springs, Georgia. Hello, Michelle from Ohio. Michelle Bentley.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Hello, Sharon and Marty from Georgia. Thank you all for joining us. All right, you want to go ahead and flip the camera and get started?
Let's get started.
All right, here we go.
All right, so I'm using just a regular, this is called a tombstone plaque. And I want to create just a soft shifting background. And I forgot to get soft sage.
Soft sage.
Yeah, sage mint.
Okay, I was going to say soft sage is gone.
Just need a real soft green. Something I can.
Light sage?
No, that one's not the one.
Sea glass.
Sea glass will work. And like I said, this is a project where you can be a little bit flexible, not only in the pieces you use and the placement, whatnot, but also in the coloring. And so I'm using spa blue and sea glass. I think the one I painted, I did use, what did I call it, sage mint? No.
I don't have the pattern in front of me. Well, you've got the pattern over there.
Oh, actually, I do. Sage mint, yes. Which is, a lot of these pastel colors are very similar. Just gonna squirt a little bit out. Now I did go ahead and base coat the background with Snow White, and I used my 1.5 inch short wash. I like this real well because it doesn't leave brush strokes. However, if you notice, there may be a little indication of the application of the paint. It doesn't need to be solid and perfect and heavy. This is okay. You just need to have continuity in your brush strokes. So you don't want some going this way and some going the other way. Because what I'm doing is going to camouflage any light and dark and create a little bit of soft movement in the background. Using my 3/4 inch oval wash, loading it well with the spa blue. I've been painting a lot and using different colors, so all these colors are getting mixed up in my mind. I do load it pretty heavily. Now, when I apply this, I want to go quickly, and it's going to take 2 coats. So keep that in mind. The first coat is just going to be, what's a good word for it? Not real pretty, just
There.
looking for the bones of the background. Using the flat of the brush, not the chisel edge, and I slap. Now, when I go down, I don't start heavy and make a line. I go down on the side, so it's kind of feathered out, and I use plenty of moisture to move it around. It does not need to be, this is going to be more or less a sky area. So when I pull it out, I have a feathered end where I start, kind of like landing a plane. You just go down, and when you lift up, just kind of lift it up. I'm going to try not to get too much paint on my tabletop. And just kind of a slap, plenty of water. I really want this to go on quickly. And the faster you can apply it, the better it's going to look. And don't try it. We're not striving for perfection. We're just striving for coverage. And slap that on there. And it's just going to be light and dark, but not spotted. I'm okay with that. Using the side of my brush, the side of my brush. As we get down here, I'm just going to bring it down. Oh, I don't know, probably maybe a couple inches from the bottom, not a straight line. Going into the green. Did not clean my brush. Just going to pick that up. A little something in my paint. Go across the bottom. And just lightly, I'm going to take some of that paint off. I have a lot of paint on there. And I'm working it up into the blue. Now you want to make sure that blue has not set up and started to dry. So you'll just basically see that soft shift from green up into the blue.
There is about 2/3 of the way up a chunk of something. To the right. You're the right.
Okay. I don't see it. Oh, I see. Up here?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Just a little bit.
Thank you. It was bothering me.
A lot of times if there's a little place in the paint, I'll wait until it starts to dry up just a teeny bit. That way you can lift it out without too much, like digging a hole or smudging it. As I said, this is pretty uneven, and you see a lot of brush strokes, but it's not heavy dark paint, which is exactly what I want. Now, due to the magic of the camera, I'm going to clean this up. A couple reasons I like to keep my workspace clean. If you lay a piece on it, and the back of it or the front of it gets in the old paint, it'll pick it up, and then you might have pieces of color in places you don't want. So, magic of camera. Ta-da! Okay. This is what it looks like after the second coat.
So for the second coat, you did the same thing. You just did
Repeat
another layer.
exactly the same thing. Let it dry completely. Now, if you are in an area where the paint dries really fast and you're not able to cover an area like that, you can use a mister to mist the surface, or you can use fast drying glazing medium, and they do have some acrylic paint retarders that extend the drying time, so keep that in mind. And I am going to put a little stenciling on this, and I want to kind of shift it over to the side. I'm going to do a little lamb, and I thought this would be a fun spring/Easter project. Now that my paint is dry, I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. I could wait a little longer, but I want this to dry, so I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit. And I am using lamp black. I want this to really show up well. And I have no moisture on my stencil brush. I'm using my Spectacular stencil brush, which is a very soft bristle. Loading the paint into my bristles, pretty good. But I don't want heavy blobs on my stencil. That's always what makes it not quite so clean and crisp. So I'm brushing it over a paper towel. I have a light touch, and I'm just going to lightly tap. And it's going to just lay that paint in there very carefully. Now what I'm doing is I'm offloading the paint, the heavier paint. Once I get that off, I can go back and lightly swirl, and it's going to give me a dry brush effect. Now I have a very feathered, light touch. If I press really hard, I'm going to push the paint underneath, which is what I don't want to do. But when I first load it, I know that paint's heavy. So look how clean and crisp those edges are. Because I know what amount of paint is on my brush. I'm not going to tap it. I'm just going to swirl it. Again, very light touch. I go this way and that way, and I can see, especially on this particular project, if the paint is against both sides of the lettering. I just want to see black in there. I can see a tiny little turquoise edge. I know I don't have it covered well. One thing nice about lamp black, I probably only need one coat. And lift it up, and it's just absolutely perfect. And that's what I'm looking for. So we're going to create a little lamb to go with this. And I wanted to get the stenciling in so I can do my lamb placement and all of that. So that's why we kind of did this at the get-go. I am going to, while I have this, that's my 20. I'm going to use my 18-aught script liner. And I'm going to fill in these bridges. There's not very many, but I want it filled in for this one.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to welcome some people. Welcome to Cindy and Terry, Glenda and Glennis, Rosa joining us from Mexico.
Wow.
Who says she follows you from there, and you do very beautiful work.
Oh, thank you so much.
Suzanne has joined us from North Idaho.
Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us. I think you're going to enjoy this project. Everybody's in the mood for spring. And I was thinking when I did even the background, you could shift the colors around and use more different, like pink and maybe yellow, have a different color background. And we'll just pull this. I don't always fill in my bridges, but I thought on this one, I don't think I did last time, did I?
You didn't know.
Personal preference. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. If you stencil it and you're thinking, I don't know, just something's not right, maybe you just need to fill in the bridges. Simple. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Okay, so I have base coated. I'm in a flip-flop mood, I think.
She's a little obsessed with the flip-flops lately.
So last week, can you see the bunny? Oh,
No, because the camera's down.
Whoa. Okay, so I did the little bunny in the carrot patch. And I used the flip-flop for the bunny, little bunny bottom. I don't know why I'm obsessed with that shape, but I've kind of been using it a little bit. I think I'll pick something different next
I'm not going to
time.
let her use flip-flops anymore.
Yeah, it just seemed like the right kind of shape, and I was looking for a little lamb body, and this one fit the bill. So think outside the box, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a project and look at your pieces, something just might work. I am loading my number 12 diverse dry brush. If you have not used these brushes, they are fantastic. This is his little body. I don't want a gray sheep. I want a fluffy white sheep.
What color was that based in?
Snow White.
Or no, the sheep is
Slate gray.
Thank you.
Now my little lamb is a little bit fluffy, and so I'm just making swirls. I want his tummy to be just a little bit brighter. I loaded my dry brush, offloaded it heavily on the paper towel. If it's not offloaded, well, you're going to get solid heavy blobs. This is almost you're going to get, it looks almost like a cloud. Get a little more paint. Every time I load, I offload. Light touch. And you can see the paint's heavy. I just wipe it off. A little bit's fine. And swirling all around. Think wool, little fluffy wool. That's what we're going for. Just want the center area a little bit brighter. Not a lot, because we're going to be doing some fun things with this. Maybe just a little bit more. I can kind of see some areas that just are a little bit dark. What a fun, these diverse dry brushes can create so much texture, and it's such a good name for it. They are truly diverse. I use them almost every time I paint. Love the effects that can be achieved with those. Alrighty. So that's pretty fluffy. Since I have that on there, I'm going to create some wool effect, and I'm using a stencil for that. And I like this one. If you have stencils, I probably have maybe a dozen stencils that I use over and over and over just for the design and the texture. Does not have to be this one. This one's, what's this one called?
Flourish.
Flourish. This is another one I use a lot. Same idea, just looking for that curly design. I was trying to think of different ones that would, this one has a lot of curls in it. And I love this one. I use this one a lot. So you just need, look at your stash. This one worked out perfectly. Now, it's not going to cover the entire sheet. However, I'm just going to, this is the head area. I want to make sure that I get a good bit of it covered. So I'm going to just take this off. I don't want to end it right down the middle, so I shifted it to the side. Can you see how that's laying on there? Almost the edge of the flip-flop is even with the edge of the stencil. So I'm going to load my stencil with Snow White stencil brush, and I'm going to tap that on. And this will probably take 2 coats to get that nice brilliant white. I was thinking about using chalk paint on it. And I like chalk paint because it will cover a little more opaquely. Over here, this ends bluntly, so I'm not going to stencil that one. I'm just going to start below. Kind of keep an eye on your design. You can shift it around, use parts of it, use the whole thing. Okay. Maybe this will be bright enough. Tap, tap, tap. We can take a peek. Yeah, this is what we want. We want that, just that woolly design. Now, when you swirl, you're almost getting a dry brush effect. So the only thing I'm doing here is kind of softening some of that with a little bit of a swirl. Perfect. Over here where it's not finished, just going to pick some part of the stencil that will kind of fill that in. Let me go up here. I think his head's going to cover most of this up. But I'm going to put just a little bit in there. I like those little curly cues. Because this is only design, it again does not have to be perfect. You're just filling in those little areas.
Now, we were talking yesterday, you had said something about using like modeling paste to build up the texture too.
Yeah, I thought that would be kind of cool to use modeling paste and then you have a raised texture. I thought
Like
that
fluff
might be kind of fun. Yeah, but for the sake of doing the demo here, it would probably take too long for it to dry. So that's another thought. I'm glad you reminded me of that one.
See, I do listen.
So this is our little lamb's body. I'm going to go in with my 1/2-inch angle, and I have zinc. Zinc is just a hair shade darker than the, well, quite a bit darker than the slate gray. Just going to shade around the edges. Give that little lamb, hopefully my white is dry enough. Now, when I shade, I have a lot of moisture on my brush and I kind of fluff it in there, like not a solid flat shade. It's not a smooth shade. My little lamb is fluffy. So when I'm shading this on, you can see I go rather quickly and I don't smoothly float. I kind of tap and pull. I can always go back and add more if I think it needs just a hint more. And he's got a head up here, but I'm not sure where his head's going to hit, so I don't want to just stop. Just bring that in. Okay, I think his little body looks kind of cute. So I went ahead and did the little head. I base coated his face in zinc. I did the top knot little woolly part in slate gray and then stenciled it with white. Now, if you don't have any stencils and you still want to create this, you can take your liner brush and just do little swirls and curly cues. So see how the flip-flops kind of look like a little lamb body? Turn his little head. He's adorable. So let's get this little guy a personality. I am going with soft black.
Or it looks like your dog.
It does. I have a little white doodle.
She has
a labradoodle.
Sheep is what it is. Don't let her fool you. She's a sheep.
She's pretty woolly. And she's so cute in the wintertime. Her hair gets long and she looks exactly like a little sheep. Okay, I'm going to go around the little face, around that little top knot, just create a little bit of a float. And I want to divide those ears off. I have a lot of moisture, so I can move this paint around for a pretty significant amount of time before it starts to dry. And that's so key if you want to have a nice, smooth, controllable float. Use enough moisture in your brush that you can really work that paint. And I want to definitely section off his little head. I can still go over here and work with this because it has not dried. Just a teeny bit around his face. Not too much. I don't want him to get too dark, just around the outer edge. But that kind of pulls it all together. Okay, we'll let that dry for a minute. And let's jump back to this plaque. And I'm going to put the little lamb here. Bring him down a bit. But he needs legs. So while we're waiting for the face to dry, let's go ahead and put his legs on there. I want him to kind of stand off the side of the plaque. We're going to make the legs really complicated here. And I'm using my number 8 flat, going into that zinc. Loading it well. And I'm just going to paint his legs in there. And I would rather do 2 light coats as opposed to 1 heavy coat. A little bit wider at the top, a little bit more narrow toward the bottom. I'm letting that bottom just kind of come down. And this will need a second coat. We'll let that sit there for a bit. I do have his little nose. And while we're waiting for everything to dry, I'm going to shade his nose. Just going to be using some of the zinc on the bottom of the nose. It is slate gray.
It is a little hard to see on the camera, but we promise you it is there. It doesn't show up very well.
When I'm painting little pieces, I use an acrylic block, and you can use a piece of cardboard, anything, but I can hang on to it. I can shade it, move it around. It's a lot easier to keep track of this than that little this somewhere. You know, you put that over there and you're going to have to try to hang on to it. You stick your finger in it. Just tape it down, and then I can set it aside. I always pretty much know where it's at. Let's go back to his little face. I need to add some brightness in his face area. Going back to my diverse dry brush, and just going to brighten his little face up. Pretty much start in the center, and I have a feather-like touch until I know how much paint is on my brush. I do an X, so I don't have, if you do a circle, sometimes you end up with a hole in the center. If I do an X, it kind of covers that, but I work my way out from the center. You can see this is just a hint of paint. But look how it brightens that little face up. It's so sweet. I'll brighten his ears up. I can be a little more aggressive on the ears. I mean, how easy is that? Lindsay, you could do this.
I can do dry brushing.
Yeah, I'm going to get her on camera one of these days.
No.
She keeps saying no, but.
No. Who's going to run the camera? Someone's going to run the
I can do that. If you're brave enough to paint, I'm brave enough to handle it.
I'm not brave enough. I'm a chicken. Right, man?
Okay, guys, get on my bandwagon here. Look at his little face. How sweet is that? Oh my goodness, he's just adorable. Also, if you think your top's not bright enough, you can go over its white on white, so I can brighten this little top area up a little bit. Always easier to go back and add more. Is that not sweet? Oh my goodness, look at this little guy. He's adorable. Okay, so we've got his little face on there. Let's go in. I'm going to darken his legs up with another coat of paint. I'm sorry, we're jumping all around. Okay. If you're worried about the side edges a little bit uneven, I am going to go down here and add a little bit of shading on that. Use my 1/4 inch angle and a little bit of the soft black. Now, the only place I have used the lamp black is on the lettering. And just want to darken those edges down. I don't have enough water. If your paint does not flow well, you need more moisture on your brush. And this is going to be covered by the body. Okay. And just the same as we did on everything else, I hope this is dry enough. Just going to drop down to a smaller dry brush and Snow White, and I can highlight the center of those legs just a little bit more. So they instantly become very dimensional. I like when it makes me smile. All right, let's get a little face on this guy. Got his little nose. And let's put a highlight on that. I was wondering, could I have made his nose pink? Do lambs have pink noses? My little doodle has a pink nose.
Kind of. Your little doodle's passed out.
She always comes to class, but she doesn't.
She comes to class and plops down on the floor behind me.
Little highlight on the nose. Okay. For the eyes, I'm going to decide. Pop that little nose off. I know noses are usually like right in the center of the face. And so my eyes are going to be like right here. And that's how I place my eyes. I'm going to be using my Painter's Pal template. These are so handy. I have trouble with astigmatism, so I have trouble with circles and ovals. This has solved my problem. It's just been a godsend. I was doing this for myself, and then I decided I bet other people would appreciate having a solution to circles. And how many? We have 11 different ones,
Yes.
Lindsay. And this is soft black. What I did, since I have that little mark there, I can go in, and I like my eyes have a little bit of a slant. I'm just going to center that mark on my template and stencil it in. How easy is that? Let's give this a little quick dry here. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to put some cheeks on him. Or her, I'm not sure which it is. This is blush pink. And I'll tell you why I picked that color. I have ribbon that was pink, and it was the only ribbon I had that was pink. So I picked the pink paint to match my ribbon. So switch it up. If you have a different color of ribbon that you want to use, by all means, make your paint match the ribbon. If you don't have any ribbon at all that's the right color, all you have to do is paint it.
Terry says she loves the Painter's Pals, but she has a terrible problem getting her eyes even. Any suggestions?
A lot of times what I do is just put a dot, or you could put what's a piece of paper? If I have a pencil here. Okay.
You pretty much always mark them before you paint them.
Yeah, mark them before you paint them, but you can also put a little line, and I don't know if you can see that. Make a top and a bottom mark. So it's not just a line, and that way when you line it up, it's easier to, I don't know if you can see that, Lindsay, it's so tiny.
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
Just don't move too
it's easier to gauge the top and the bottom. Use a chalk pencil, use a pencil, and that way you'll always be able to tell exactly where the top and the bottom is, and it's easier. And it may not be you, Terry. It may be your eyes, because I've struggled with different things, and I think, why can't I get this right? And it's my eyes don't see it correctly. So I have to use a T-square, and with something like that, it would be a little bit hard because you have no straight edges. But anything that will help you determine the top and the bottom. And I have used that little, like a capital I, to make sure I get my eyes straight. And sometimes they look cute, a little more whimsical when they're not exactly even. And this is going to take a little bit more to show up on the dark. And just kind of putting that on.
So she says you might be right about eyes. I wear mono contacts and have to take them out and use glasses when doing details.
See, and you know, it's just understanding your vision is a key part of finding a solution. Grabbing a little bit of the spa blue. I like my eyes to have a little life in them. And I found out if I add just a hint of a float of color in the eyes, and I usually try to pick whatever palette I'm using, a blue shade, or it doesn't even have to be blue. If not, just even white would work. And this looks a little bit intense. My paint is very thin, and so it's going to dry a little bit less vivid. And we'll bring just a tad more life because these are bigger eyes. I can put a little more detail. This is my 8 or 20-aught script liner. A little comma strip. Down in the bottom. I can't talk and do that at the same time. I have a stylus somewhere. Whatever. And should we put eyelashes on him or not? Haven't decided yet. I don't think they're going to show up.
No.
So let's not. I do want to put some little eyebrows here though.
While she's making eyebrows, this design is another Keep It Simple design, which that's the new line of designs that Chris has come out with. They do not have line drawings, but you don't need a line drawing. It has a full-size picture, color picture in there. So if you do need like some of the details, like the face details, you can grab them off the picture. They are less expensive. So this pattern would be $4, $3 for the E pattern. And there is a bundle available, and it is linked in the chat if you are interested. And the bundle comes with pattern, the word stencil, the tombstone plaque, and the little layer kit.
I am going to just float a hint of soft black.
I think it's Adriana, just joined us from Colombia.
Oh, welcome, Adriana. I'm picking up just a hint of soft black. I think I'm going to drop down to my 1/8 inch angle. His eye kind of blends into his face where I've lightened it. If I put a shade of this soft black right beside the eye and pull it around, you can see how all of a sudden it settles into his face. So I'm just going to add that little bit of a float. It's all these little details. A little bit of paint makes a big difference. Doesn't matter if you're painting big or small. And put his little nose there. I can do a couple things for his mouth. I can use my Uniball. I haven't done that for a while, have I? I don't know if that'll work.
Has that been in here? You might want to rub it on paper since it's been
Yeah,
in here, the temperature. Yeah. Sometimes with the Uniball, if the temperature is a little colder, you have to run it on paper to get it to. And this room is cooler than the rest of the building. So that's why I told Chris to rub it on the paper first.
One thing nice about a Uniball, if you don't like the way it looks, they do erase with water. The other thing about a Uniball that's not so nice, if you forget about it and varnish over top,
It does erase the
it
water.
erases it. So good thing, bad thing.
I still think this looks like Maddie.
Normally I would use tacky glue to glue this on, but I'll just pop it on with a little bit of hot glue. And I have a little bit over there that I'm not crazy about. I must have stuck my finger in, so I'm just going to touch up that little edge. Okay, let's get that body glued onto the head. And I turned his little head sideways a bit. I thought that would be cute. And I can put it on my plaque here. Kind of got a mess, Lindsay. My workspace is kind of creeping in on me. So I've got this little guy here. I'm going to put the little bow on his neck, but I needed something here at the bottom. And I thought it would be cute to have some little flowers. My little favorite tool is my floral friend. This is a great way to add flowers quickly, easily, and I think I am going to use chalky paint on this. It's just a little bit more opaque. I'm going to get some out with my... You can see it builds up almost like a tube acrylic paint. It's that much thicker. But when you stencil with it, it makes it really, really nice. I want to do something with these feet down here to make them not bluntly end. And this is spring. So I'm just going to take a little bit of Snow White and add some flowers down here. And I think for the sake of time, we'll just do a few. And because I'm going to use the white over, I'm just going to grab a different. This is Wisteria. It's a beautiful lavender.
That's an old bottle of Wisteria.
What?
I said, that's an old bottle of Wisteria. Look at the label.
Oh.
That's history right there.
Deco art paint is good for such a very long time.
It always cracks me up looking at the labels, like the different labels we've had.
Oh, yeah. My
Yeah.
goodness. So there's three different styles, three different styles of flowers. I'm just going to be using different shapes and sizes. And add these flowers on there. Need to do a pink one. Okay, I'm going to grab another brush here and do the pink. And I want to cover up that little foot a good bit. Add the pink on there. And I can change my sizes. This particular stencil brush is a little bit too big for some of these smaller flowers. Just to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing here. Just want to overlap those legs. Get those flowers kind of stenciled in. And this will take just a little bit of time to get this in here. play around with it. You can add even little teeny tiny ones. I wanted a little white one right there. I'm just going to do a little spattering of different flowers here. This one is really weak, and I'm thinking my paint was not shaken up very well. You know how it kind of separates some of the paint?
Oh, yeah. That's like that green one earlier. That's why I shook it. It felt clunky.
I do want this one to just be a little bit stronger. Okay. Well, I might as well do this little guy too. Perfect. I'm not going to be too fussy with how perfect these are, but I am going to go back. I'm losing my tools. Oh, here we go. I want to add some flower centers. And we'll do just a little sampling of the flowers, and I'll show you what it looks like finished. Just absolutely love the way this turned out. The flowers are just like an accent. So keep this in mind. Again, they don't have to be perfect. They come with a little round center. I'm going to put, this is a fun little template. This is called Floral Friend.
Floral Friend, yes.
Yeah. Let's go. This is Baby Duck. And I'm going to shake up the sizes on the flower centers. I want this to be fairly opaque. But if you're like me, you don't want like doing all that little tiny fussy painting. These tools are fantastic. Helps eliminate a lot of work. Now, I do recommend that you keep these clean for a couple reasons. I can go back and center these little flower centers, center the in the middle of the flowers, but I have to be able to see where I'm centering them. So if my template has paint around the edges, it's hard to gauge where that center needs to be located. Does it have to be perfect? No. Sometimes that adds a little bit of whimsy when they're kind of a little bit off center. At least that's what I tell myself. But you don't want to be sloppy. And just a little pink on there. Let's go tiny on this one. And it has yellow on it. If I don't clean that yellow off, it'll bring that yellow in with the pink, which won't be awful. But be tidy. I missed a purple flower, Lindsay. You didn't tell me that.
Purple flower?
Yeah, I don't have.
Oh, I can't even see that on here. The purple's not showing up to me that very good.
Okay, we'll fix that.
Hey, Chris, you missed a purple flower.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
That's why she's here, to help me out here. I could not see where the center was. And sometimes I try to fudge it, and that's when you always end up going, oh, I knew better. I should have just been a little more careful and took time to make sure it was correct. Adding a little bit of greenery. Now, I'm using plantation pine. I like plantation pine because it leans a little bit on the opaque side. So, I don't know if that's going to be too big. That's going to be too big. This, I need a number 6. Not sure where my number 6 flat is.
Maybe we'll get you one.
No. It's here. Okay, I'll try the 4. Okay, I'm gonna try the 8. It's not here, is it? Lindsay has good eyes. No, that's an angle. Now I've lost my 4. Okay. She's gonna check into it. I want my flat to be perfectly flat. I'm loading both sides. See how sharp that chisel edge is. So when I do a leaf, I'm gonna touch down, press, and pull it out. And what's nice about the plantation pine, it's a little bit thin. So it's not going to go on real heavy and solid, which makes it kind of fun to do these little leaves. This will work, Lindsay.
Yeah, it's not in here.
Well, I can't blame Jen, can I? If I want a bigger leaf, I'm just going to take and press and pull it harder. More pressure will end up in a bigger leaf. So I just add these on. And I found out that the less I think about it, the better the leaves will work. And I just stuck my hand in that one. Just want to get some little bits of foliage, kind of pulling it down.
Now, if you didn't want to use, I don't know if you said this, if you didn't want to use your brush to do this, there are leaves on the floral friend.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and I've used these before. It takes a little more time.
Yeah, but if you wanted to do that, that is plantation pine on the leaves.
Okay, now these look okay, but we want to ramp them up, right? We want to make it look a little more artsy. So I'm just going to take my Identipen, and hopefully they're dry enough. Just going to outline these petals.
And if you don't, as always, if you don't want to use an Identipen, you can use a liner.
I like to be a little loose. I think it's more whimsical. And I'm just going to outline all those leaves and put a little stem on there. You could use an micron. Okay, that little purple flower that you could not see.
I can see it now.
Yeah. Am I staying directly on the shape of the leaf? No. You can make it just as artsy as you want. I like it to look a little loose. I think it looks a little more fun. But look how it brings some color in there. After we get this on there and get some of these outlined, it kind of fills that area in without being too fussy. And if this little leaf was too small, I can make it look bigger just by outlining it bigger. If you are a more meticulous person and you want it to be a little more specific, by all means, spend a little more time on it. This is probably what took the most time. And you can see how that fills it in. Kind of gives it that more of a handcrafted look. Okay, but they still look a little bit dull. So I'm going to go back with my stylus. You know, I have a very small work area here. How can I lose my stylus?
You just have it.
This, oh, there it is. I haven't pulled it out yet. It's bright orange. How can I lose it? Just want to go in and add some little Snow White dip dots. Make sure your stylus is clean. And your paint is fresh. Mine has started to kind of skim over, and I'm getting these weird, not round dip dots. Okay, this is what we want. Now for the smaller flowers, I'll just flip over to the smaller end and add some little smaller dip dots. But that will really brighten them up. A lot of times, especially like the yellow over this green background, is not very strong, and it looks a little dark. I can add some little pops of little bits of brightness down here. It's always these little touches that make a difference. Look how that brightens that up. Usually do clusters of 3 or 4, but look how sweet that is. It just absolutely brightens it up. So adorable. And we're going to go back to the little lamb. See how pretty that is. You don't notice his little flat feet that don't fit.
Okay, learned this. I learned my lesson last time.
Okay, I'm out of glue.
Where are the sticks at?
I don't know. I think they're down there in the bottom. Never thought about that. When you glue this on, make sure you have room for the holes.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So we'll work with this. I do have the little bow, and I wanted to put something bright on here. I wanted a jingle bell. All I had was a rusty jingle bell. But if you're a painter, that's never a problem, because I'm just going to, and I stuck it on my stylus so I don't have to hold it too terribly. And get a little bit of paint. I'm just going to brush that on there. I'm not careful about painting it solid. I just want that to be a little bit brighter. And I will glue that right there in the center of his bow. And I thought I have some little greenery. I thought it would be cute to stick a little bit of greenery in it. So with the magic of the camera,
Magic of television.
this is my little finished piece. I did continue the flowers across the bottom, alternating not only size, color, but also the height of the flowers. It looked very empty up here, so I added a little sprinkling of flowers up above, stuck the little bow in the center, and then just put a little bit of greenery on there. So I think this is so sweet. And you can see how you can switch up the coloring, the coloring of the flowers. I thought this would also be sweet in like a nursery.
Yeah, you could switch up the saying
Oh,
too.
and personalize it. flip-flops and a little lamb. Who would have thought?
And she's not doing flip-flops anymore.
No more
I
flip-flops.
promise, no more. If she brings them to me, I'm gonna smack her hand.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. The reason I picked this, excuse me, it was the right size. And I thought, well, I wasn't sure about the shape, but the more I played around with it, the more I decided it would be just absolutely perfect. Now, if you are concerned about the head is lifted off, this glues on, a big part of it glues onto the body pretty securely, but you could always take, if you have a little extra wood piece, you could stick it under there just to support the top part, make it even more secure, glue it to the back of the head and to the front of the plaque. That will fill in that gap and make it really solid. Or if you don't have an extra piece, cut a little square of cardboard, corrugated cardboard, and stick it in there. Any questions?
Just some comments. Glenna said pretty darn adorable. Carrie says she loves to watch you paint. Glenda said cut such a cute little face. Elaine said oh so adorable. Terry says the outlining totally changes the look. Love it. Marty says absolutely adorable. Bonnie says this turned out so cute.
Thank you so very much. So if you guys paint this up, we would love to see what you do. Post it, make sure that you share it with us so we can see all your talent, because I know you all are so very incredibly talented. Or if you want to just private message me, that would be great too.
You can also email it to me, info@cbwood.com.
Lindsay shares everything, so she would share it with me.
Next week we'll be back on Tuesday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, and I believe I've talked her into St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
She doesn't like to do St. Patrick's Day.
Lindsay loves St. Patrick's Day. She's a redhead, you know, she's got it in her blood, I think. But we all need a little luck, right?
Yeah.
So
I figured take a little break from the Easter. We got another holiday in there, so.
I've got a really cute Easter project planned for the next time. So I'm kind of on a roll.
That's a good idea, Mike. Mike said you should create a bag of those support pieces.
Oh, that's true.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Will just the bunnies be, Marlene, just the bunnies be available?
The lambs?
Oh, yeah, the lambs, yes, they are on the website. Hold on one second, and I will pop the link in here. If that's what you're talking about, the lambs, yes.
They don't have the feet, but
it's a little
the body,
kit.
the head,
Comes with the head, the nose, and the flip-flops.
Yes.
That's the lamb kit.
This would be cute on a lot of different things.
Sandy says she loves St. Patrick's Day also. I do. Yeah, I love St. Patrick's Day. I know it's not everybody's holiday, but
It's fun.
I do have DNA, a little bit of Irish DNA, but I love the food. I've been to Ireland twice. I love Ireland. You guys should love Ireland. You're more Irish than I am.
Yeah.
That last name, but
My husband's family's name used to be Haughey, and then the O was dropped. So it's very, very Irish.
But yeah, she's got a really cute project lined up for next week.
I do. I think you're going to like it.
Yeah. Lisa said she never knew flip-flops are so versatile. Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
You can't use them for St. Patrick's Day, though.
Well, you know, the flip-flop piece, really, we've only used it for flip-flops, and that's not a hot number. But when I saw all the different possibilities that you could use it with, I'm looking at it with a different point of view now. So take a look at your stash. You might be surprised. Flip it upside down, turn it sideways. You never know what you could come up with.
Marlene, I did send, it's in there twice now. If you still don't get it, send me a private message on Facebook and I'll send it to you there. She was looking for the link for the lamb.
Oh, okay.
Sandy says, I don't think they have enough St. Patrick's Day things. I agree, Sandy.
Okay. Okay. I will do I might even do a couple. How's that?
Well, I mean, at least one. You've done one this year.
Yeah,
she did do one.
The shamrock.
Yeah.
Are you on the back thing here?
No. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, up above on the left. She did that one this year.
Yeah.
She doesn't normally do St. Patrick's Day, and I told her she had to do one for the interchangeable because there are a lot of people who like to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
And the interchangeables are fun because you can paint both sides, pop them in and out, not a lot of storage issues. And I know when my kids were little, we decorated for every holiday big time. So that I would.
Yeah, I usually decorate I do Christmas and then jump to St. Patrick's Day and then do Memorial Day. That's how I decorate. So, but Glennis says Fahey here. O was dropped as well for her last name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that was becoming Americanized when they dropped the O's.
Suzanne said it was her father-in-law's birthday, so they always celebrated.
Oh, of course you have to.
Lisa says we have a huge St. Pat's parade here every year. I think they do that in
Do they still turn the river in Chicago green?
Oh yeah, they don't need to dye it much. So I used to live in Chicago. That river's green regardless. So it's just a brighter green at St. Patrick's Day, but
ramp it up.
Yeah,
a little bit of paint makes a big difference.
But
okay. Oh, did you my new piece?
Oh yeah.
I did.
So she does have a new design out. We touched on it a little bit last Tuesday, but it wasn't out yet. But it is behind her, right above her head, that one. And I'll pop up a graphic. Sweet as honey. It has dimensional beads. You can't tell from the photo, but let me get rid of this graphic. And you can see if Chris holds it up, you can see on the camera. Well, hold it up higher. There you go.
Oh, okay.
You can see it there. They does have dimensional beads.
We did the butterflies, and John got creative. This is his design. So he created the bumblebees and the jar and the honey, and he handed me all the blanks and he said, here, do something with this. I said, sure. But I do love the way this turned out. I think it's really sweet.
Yeah.
No, Sweet as Honey is the name of the.
So that is available on our new products section of the website. The newest items are in the news section of the website. There's also, I just uploaded 4 new e-patterns from Sandy LaFleur as well. So that's in there. But yeah. And she is working. We are patiently waiting for Easter and spring interchangeables for the plaque. She is working on Easter. I have seen it. It's a work in progress. She's having she's fighting with one element. Let's just put it that way. How about that?
You know, when I design something, I see it in my head, I sketch it out, and I paint it up, and boom, boom, boom. Okay, so I did that Easter. I saw it in my head. It was adorable. I sketched it out. I painted it up. And I was like, that's not right. And so then I rearranged and painted, and that's not right. So I painted it Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And then she brought it in.
Yeah.
And she showed me, and she's like, I got to do something here. And she took it back last night, and she doesn't like it still. So
I have one dramatic thing to do to it. It's either going to make it or break it. But either way.
It is in progress.
Yeah,
so I promise you, she is painting
it. I will overcome.
Hopefully by next week. Well, it has to be by next week because you leave on. I'm holding her to it because she has to do it for next week because she's going. Yeah. She won't be here after Wednesday. So.
Yeah, I got to get busy.
Yeah.
And pack my suitcases too. So. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, and spring will come after Easter. So spring will probably be next month. I
have a few ideas for that.
So
starting to doubt myself, but I can get back here.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Create with Chris, Cupboard Distributing, same thing. Be sure to subscribe to that. These videos only stay on Facebook 30 days, Lindsay?
Yeah, they're on Facebook for 30 days. They are on YouTube, our YouTube channel forever. But when we do a live on our YouTube channel, you have to look for the live section. So there's an actual live section that they go in. It doesn't go in with the regular videos.
Videos, shorts, lives.
Yeah.
You can pick your whichever.
So be sure to look in there. Give it, usually I think you have to give it just a little time for it to process on YouTube. But yeah, it'll definitely be on our YouTube.
And if you subscribe, you automatically get a notice that something has been posted, and that way you won't miss out. So, okay, I think that's it.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to our next painting adventure together. And remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference. Thank you. Bye-bye.